Nova, where do we have him?
Nova. She can defend missiles. That is the correct word for it. Is she can? Is it easy or painless? Nope. But it's possible. So basically, yeah, you're going to use a combination of, most likely your missile defense is going to be a combination of Marines for hit scan and Ravens for, yeah, Marines are incompetent at shooting down nukes. You'll use Ravens to murder the nukes.
Yeah, secret missiles.
And also, your Marines have to be like stuck together in squads, big enough squads, to not lose them to the splitter missiles. Because if you don't have enough Marines to shoot down the little missiles that come from the splitter missiles, you're going to just lose your Marines to the nukes or
How
to the
many?
missiles, to the splitter missiles.
How many splitter missiles does it take to kill a Nova Marine?
2.
Two. Oh, yeah. I was thinking if you get armor upgrade and the super
No,
stim.
they are, each splitter missile splits into 2 mini missiles, which each deal 50 damage. Nova's Marines
It's
only have
painful.
150 health.
That's painful.
So, yeah, it's really painful. There's honestly even an argument for defending against missiles to even just go as far as to use only Ravens to defend against nukes, and all the other missiles you just straight up mass repair. There's actually an argument because your Marines are that awful.
There is actually an argument for that. I can see that.
Anyways, however, once you get all that figured out, Nova's hero unit can just, solo the map.
Yes.
It's a pain to defend the missiles, but at least your hero unit can solo the map. So if you do defend the missiles, the rest of the mission isn't too terrible.
Amon thinks
And
he's
Nova's
being
hero
clever
units
by
are second.
cloaking. What about Noah's super cloak?
Yes, I definitely had to use P3 for soloing this with Nova, which took so many tries. Oh,
Really?
It was awful.
I guess the waves are pretty tricky, huh?
This was a terribly difficult solo with Nova. It was
well.
incredibly difficult solo. At least for me. I don't know. Tutu's probably going to be like, oh, I found the strategy that made it trivial.
He did no mining. No, not really, but...
Anyways, I'm not entirely certain what tier to put Nova in. I feel like it's basically a case of her missile defense is quite bad, but other than that, she's fine. It's just missile defense is a problem.
I think part of the reason why you had such a difficult time with Nova is because you were soloing, so all the missiles went to you. But if you have an ally, it shouldn't be as
but
difficult.
even if you're not soloing, like I know from duos, especially from like doing brutal plus mutations, that it's like no, there ends up enough splitters that it needs quite a lot of hit scan to not lose things to splitters, and Nova's Marines are just a very small quantity of bodies, so that it's really a huge pain to deal with splitters.
All right.
I will die on the hill of Nova Marines are worse than P1 Raynor Marines. It's just.
Yes, you will die on that hill. Anyway, letter.
C? I'm not entirely certain where to put her, to be honest.
How about you, Tutu?
Every time we have missile command, you say Stick says that Nova has a hard time dealing with it. I don't see how. I always do the same thing, which is P1 barracks first, and you get tons of Marines. And
so you don't
patrol,
use super cloak.
And then you drop your few Ravens. They will heal if they get hurt. And the Ravens don't move. So I'm not using them for anything except automatically healing whatever Marines get hurt. And then Nova, for this one, just clears the map easily. Because with P1, you have blink shotgun, kill things. The only reason why I didn't put her in S is because if you have air units, you got to switch suits, which is annoying. But other than that, if you have like a all ground comp, then yeah, you just blast, things die. And Nova has detection, so going around fighting, you don't need any help. So I put her in A because like all you need are Marines patrolling. I just had like a lot of Marines, maybe 16 Marines, just patrolling missile turrets. This is one base, by the way, and then 1 or 2 Ravens healing, and I had no problem.
What do you say to that, Sixbender?
So, Yeah, I don't know. I tried so many times doing this one with P1. My Marines literally lost the missiles every single time, no matter how many I had. They did nothing.
Did you have Ravens?
Yeah. Marines are just so bad.
Did mastery choice affect this?
I don't know.
The healing? I have 5 points on the automatic healing mastery.
Maybe that works.
I have 20 points in that.
I also made ghosts later on, and the ghosts help shoot missiles.
Yeah, I did also made ghosts, but I was much struggle to have enough money to make them, especially since I just kept losing all my Marines. Were your Marines patrolling?
Yes.
Man, I found that if I put them on patrol instead of like hold positioning them, I lost them even faster.
Maybe it's just bad RNG or something. Your famous bad RNG, Stickspender.
Maybe I don't understand. My Marines get slaughtered, utterly slaughtered. It is not close.
I fought against the classic ground Zerg.
Yeah, you have to. You definitely. Oh yeah, that's another thing. If you're using the P1 mass Marine strategy, if an attack wave reaches your base and you have to fight it with something that isn't Nova Hero Solo, you get doomed. Your Marines cannot fight a wave and the missiles.
How about airstrike?
For duos, it's probably not that bad.
You drop a defense drone and teleport home.
Yeah.
I also dropped the tank. I dropped a pair of tanks later on just to help with defense.
Also, I don't think you have that many minerals for airstrikes, by the way, CCG, but you do have some minerals for airstrike. You're one base P1 Nova spending all your minerals on making as many Marines as possible. You don't have a lot of top bar. You have some, but not a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I used airstrike. I don't remember.
All right. So
I did make liberators to kill Molten Sal.
Hooray!
I don't know where the money comes from, Tutu, but sure, liberators.
Well, yeah, you have lots of gas because it's not like you're making, something that costs gas. You're making Marines.
Still 700 minerals, but hey, that's true.
But by the late game, like, what are you gonna do? Alternatively, put out one pair of Marines that will each fire like 3 attacks before the mission ends. Yeah.
I guess. Anyway, so
I was maxed out at the end, so
yeah,
I didn't really lose Marines.
At a certain point, you max out. I don't understand why your Marines didn't get utterly slaughtered. Mine did.
Did you add missile turrets alongside the Marines,
yes.
Tutu?
Yes, you have to, because that's how you see the missiles.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what the difference is between Tutu's and Stickspender's runs. I'm aligned more with Tutu because I think the Marines heal themselves enough with the Ravens.
I'll assume that other people's Marines don't instantly get slaughtered by missile command.
Which
Nova's actually good.
Which will probably be more true when you're with an ally. So you'll get only half the stuff. So
and Nova herself is really strong.
Nova herself is really strong. If you get an air comp, it will be a pain, but it's still doable. I don't know. I feel like comp dependence also is a heavy factor here, but like it basically comes down to I just have so little faith in Marines, and it's just like, why does anyone else's Marines live when my Marines never live? They never beat anything. Like 5 Nova Marines dies to 1 Zergling, it feels like. They just never win for me. I have defense drones. I have heal. I have like near maxed out mastery on their passive healing over time.
I assume you get all the upgrades. You get all the upgrades. The tech lab and the engineering bay upgrades.
Yes. I don't know.
I have no idea why.
Bad.
I'm
They're
stumped.
magically bad.
They're magically bad.
They die to everything. Anyways. Sure. Nova A. I kind of lean towards B because of the comp dependence still, but
that's true. That is the case there. If you get Reaver Disruptor, not sure how you're fighting that. If you get
Reaver Disruptor, that's relatively doable, especially if you really know what you're doing with the Nova Hero unit. You switch into shotgun mode. You get the double damage for the first few seconds in shotgun mode. Blam, blam. Hey, look, the Reavers and Disruptors are all gone.
I guess. Yeah, about Sky Terran or anyway.
That's a problem. But Reaver Disruptor is still a ground comp, so it's really a matter of shooting up. It's you can do it, but it's considerably more difficult because you can't just say, "Oh, look, Nova goes in and deals with the entire wave all by herself without even any effort." Versus, oh, I might actually need units or something crazy like that.
Something crazy. Anyway, so I guess we're gonna settle on A, even though it's a soft A. We can put her even at the bottom of A or something.
I think B makes sense with comp dependence. I can see that.
Okay, so we're moving her down to B.
Because the other ones in A don't really care. Not even Phoenix.
Yeah.
All right, we'll move her down to B. I actually had her in A, but sure, B is fine. Raynor, where do we have him?
We move unseen. He against missile command, he has no problem. Against darkness, he can help by scanning. Against
we move unseen.
Well, his just regular army is not. If you're scanning a lot because of we move unseen, you're not gonna have money for your army. So you're gonna completely rely on your ally for scans, or you're gonna be spending a lot of money to just see things for a short time, and sometimes you might not even kill all the enemies in that time. But the scanning is really, really helpful later on, and I don't think he's terrible. I think he's like C.
What do you say that, Stickspender?
I thought Raynor was a lot higher actually. So again, this is a mission where the early game is really slow. There's the first attack wave, which Banshees obliterate, and then they can take a bite out of either the expansion or that left base if you want to make waves spawn further away. There's a second wave, which the Hyperion obliterates, and then the Hyperion can definitely make sure the expansion gets cleared if you. Okay, so admittedly you do have to burn scans if you want to do that. So actually, probably not, right? I'm forgetting that's probably not worth scanning that early to clear the stuff. But still, the first wave, Banshees obliterate it. Second wave, Hyperion obliterates it. The crystals where you have defenders on the crystals, Banshees obliterate it. You don't actually need units for a good long while. So you can make a lot of orbitals early on. So because this map has a slow early game, which lets you make a lot of orbitals, I don't think it's actually nearly as bad to have we move on scene on this map compared to a lot of other maps for Jimmy. And then I think that Marines kill stuff when they're Jimmy's Marines. Man, why do my Nova Marines to lose to everything, and then 2-2's Jimmy Marines lose to everything, but then his Nova Marines kill everything?
I haven't played P0 yet. I tried P3.
P3 would probably be
really slow.
Interesting really experience. Slow. It would be really slow. Yeah, it would be an interesting experience. Is one way of putting it. Scan does mean you can help with things with your ally, and it means you can check for crystals. It's like the lava recedes 3 seconds in. Jimmy knows where every single crystal is.
Or just know the map, and before the lava recedes, you know where everything is.
You know the map, and then you know 3 possibilities, and Jimmy narrows it down from 3 possibilities to 1 because is it behind door number 1, door number 2, or door number 3? Oh, Jimmy just sees through the doors. He has X-ray vision. Okay.
True. All right. I'll give you that. So, letter.
I was actually thinking Jimmy was an A tier because of easy missile defense and because this map lets him ramp up his economy to the fact that detection is okay, and then healthy scanning will make sure that detection and we move unseen will do nothing once you have enough orbitals to maintain those scans.
I initially had Raynor in B, but I'm actually partial to seeing Raynor.
I do like A.
I'm partial to seeing Raynor in A. So, if you guys say A, I have no problems putting him in A. What do you say to that?
You feel sympathetic for poor Raynor.
Yes. Wouldn't you?
I don't believe in putting commanders in places just because you feel like they should go there or they haven't been there for a while.
I do agree with that, but I actually legitimately feel like Raynor could be an A tier here. I think he's a good commander option.
Yeah,
he's a bit of a sketchy A tier, but that's also how I feel about Kerrigan.
So how do you feel about that, Tutu?
I don't think he's A because the A commanders are just so much easier. And they can contribute early game and they're not really comp dependent. Raynor against AoE suffers.
Raynor dies to everything. How did you fare against different enemy comps, Sticksbender?
See, the problem is I know how to micro Marines. I should really make like a guide video on Marine micro techniques for every different splash damage in StarCraft. Because the biggest problem is that like a lot of people who like die to splash damage Marines will be like, I split my Marines. It's like, no, you did a Baneling split against a Colossus, which is actually anti-productive. It makes it even worse.
Okay.
That's the problem.
You should probably do
I
that,
should
Six
really
Bender.
make a guide video at some point on like how to split Marines against each different form of splash damage in this game.
I'm
But
sure you'll
basically,
have so many
if you-
1v1 players who will watch your video. Co-op players don't care.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Yeah, it applies to 1v1 as well. Because
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's right. That's all.
That's
It's
what I
also in
said.
1v1 that it's just like I've run over many a Protoss because it's like, well, I know how to split my Marines, so your splash damage did not obliterate me, so now you lose.
That's what I
Marine
said.
timings.
Yeah. So
Anyways, I think that your bio army can shove through quite a lot. The biggest deal is basically your entire thing here is just going to be resource tension because splash damage will increase your losses, which increases the number of mules you need. But you also need lots of scans, which is pulling away from your mules. And then to compensate that, you would build more orbitals, which cost more minerals, which means you need more mules. So it's going to be basically a matter of making sure you have enough command centers. This is a time when I might recommend like the JYK style of like 10 command centers. And I would recommend actually making medics and microing your Marines and whatnot. But you still want like 10 command centers probably would be like basically the more command centers, the easier it will be because the more forgiving Raynor will be. If you have too few command centers and you lose a lot of units, you won't be able to recover. You'll have to micro good enough to not lose those units in the first place. But if you have lots and lots of extra command centers, then it's okay if you lose your entire army, you can make a new one. So I would recommend like 10 command centers. And I think that against most comps, Raynor should be fine. There are definitely a few comps where it's like, this is so much splash damage that your only solution is meat grinder, and then you're going to need like 12 command centers. And by those comps, I'm basically referring to Reaver Disruptor and
Bailey Scourge.
Yeah, it's mostly Reaver Disruptor. Yeah, Masters of Machines a bit, but it's not too bad. And then Brood War Mech can be bad, but only if you don't manage to maintain critical mass. And all three of those comps are made definitely a lot more efficient by using Marauders. Marauders make you a lot more efficient. Against most comps that have splash damage, Marauders make you more efficient.
Maybe it's just anecdotal on my end, but my experience Raynor against Missile Command is I may be over-defending. I build a bunch of bunkers with Marines inside to the point where it takes so long. It takes me maybe until 15 minutes or so to get a reasonable sized army to do anything. How much do you ramp up into your defense? How do you allocate your resources, Raynor?
So yeah, you definitely need a handful of different bunkers with Marines in them to defend against the missiles. As you get towards the late game, if you can spare the minerals for it, you'll probably want to build empty bunkers and like even like thin some Marines out from inside your bunkers and replace with more empty bunkers in order to free up supply tension, because you want to have a big enough army on the field all the time, but you also need to defend the missiles still. So you want to dedicate relatively few Marines to defending missiles, but you'll still have bunkers. So bunkers good for that. With 3 Marines in a bunker can do quite a lot. I think that 3 Marines in a bunker was the amount to shoot down a nuke, actually.
Nice.
I usually put 4 Marines in my bunker, so I wouldn't know exactly, but I believe Lilo is mentioning something about it's 3 Marines to the bunker to be able to be fine against missile command.
When do you start your third orbital? Do you have a bunker or 2 up before your third orbital, or do you have 4
0.
orbitals?
No,
you just repair.
Orbital, and repair. Orbital, repair.
So when do you start your first bunker?
You don't need bunkers until like, honestly, the first 5 minutes of missiles are like nothing. The next 5 minutes are a bit expensive to repair, but if you're building orbitals, then you're probably better off continuing to build orbitals. Basically, it's like bunkers. You build orbitals, then you build bunkers, then you spam a whole bunch of barracks and start killing things.
All right.
I would think is basically the order.
Cool.
Just make sure that by 10 minutes you need to have your bunkers up. So if you're still building orbitals by that point, that's when you go like, okay, hold on, let me get bunkers up, and then I'll go back to orbital building. But if you're still building orbitals at that point, then you either have great confidence in your top bar micro, or you're having great confidence in your ally.
So, Raynor in B?
I think B is all right.
I'd be okay with Raynor in B. I feel like he's kind of in a similar category to Kerrigan, but I can see how it's going to be a lot of resource tension because all of the mutators are putting strain on your resources.
Sure.